Hello boys and girls. So you may remember that close to the beginning of lockdown we celebrated VE Day. I'll give you a few seconds just to tell your mum or your dad what you think VE Day stands for. So it means victory in Europe, and VE Day, the first one, happened on the 8th of May 1945, very long time ago, and it was the day that the Nazi forces surrendered. That means they gave up, they admitted that they'd lost, and the Allied forces, that included England and a lot of other countries, won the war. And it was a very, very happy day for millions of people all over the world, as you can see from these pictures, apart from that one little boy that looks somewhat unhappy. But the guy next to him looks very happy. Because it meant no more fighting, no more uncertainty, no more fear that the world would be taken over by the Nazis and that we would go on suffering because of this horrible war. And that's why we still celebrate it now, 75 years later. And if any of you have seen the film The Prince of Egypt, which is about the book of Exodus in the Bible, you will have seen some clips at the end of the film where the Israelite slaves, God's people, were able to leave Egypt after many, many years of slavery and suffering. They were allowed to go with Moses on their way to the Promised Land, this amazing place that God had got prepared for them. And they were so happy that they were singing and dancing and rejoicing all together because they'd been set free. And that was a very, very happy day. And how do you think that everyone will feel on the day it's announced that we have a vaccine for the coronavirus? Millions of people will celebrate all over the world. It'll be a great day, one that we'll probably always remember. We've been watching our televisions, haven't we, to see what Boris Johnson is going to say about lifting restrictions from the lockdown, because we want to see people. And I, for one, was so happy when he announced a few weeks ago that we could open church sites again and meet together for the first time in a long time. And if you've been able to bubble with a grandparent or a friend and you got to hug them after months of waiting and not seeing them, I bet that was a really happy day for you. But there is a better day than any of those. Better than coming out of lockdown, better even than coming to the end of a war or setting people free from slavery. And again, I'll give you a few seconds to see if you can tell your mum or dad what you think that day was. The greatest day in history. It was the day that Jesus died for us. So Psalm 118 verse 24 says this: "This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice," that means to be joyful, "and be glad in it." And it's talking about the gift that God gave to us. Freedom from sin, pardon from punishment, no more fear of hell, and a relationship with God. And if we believe in Jesus, if we put our faith in him and follow him and trust him, and that day that Jesus died on the cross is the most important and the happiest day in history. And just like we still celebrate VE Day because we defeated an evil force and stopped millions of deaths, so 2,000 years later, we still celebrate the fact that Jesus died because he defeated sin and Satan and death, our enemies, on the cross. And just like the Israelites leaving slavery behind them, we're set free from slavery to sin, Satan and death. And we don't have to just celebrate that once a year. We can live every single day remembering that gift and being happy about it. And you might think that it's a bit crazy to talk about being happy right now. A happy day doesn't feel like one in lockdown because it's tough, isn't it, to be happy when you can't see your friends, your family, your schoolmates, not knowing what's going to happen or when it's going to end. And it's upsetting to think of the people that are poorly or dying. And you might have other reasons to be upset. But if you trust in Jesus, then even on the hardest days, the saddest days, you can still be joyful, a deep down joy, because you know that there is no situation or sadness that can take the power of the cross from us. We can rejoice in the day that the Lord has made through Jesus on the cross. We can come to him and find deep joy because he rescued us. So I've sent this to your parents so you can colour in the sheet. And I hope that helps you whenever you're having a really bad day and you feel down, you can pin it to your fridge or your wall, and you can remember that we can have everlasting life with Jesus. And I hope that you'll be able to say on that day that it's a happy day. Hopefully see you soon.